When you listen to this audio, drink in every word. Go with him to the places, the areas, the memories where you have experienced pain and suffering, and let him breathe into them. Remember to meditate on his word. Remember to stop and take the time to cultivate your intimate connection with Holy Spirit. This week, I too am meditating upon who Yeshua is in suffering and in trials, in pain and hardship. When we are able to lock our eyes on him, we will be able to endure, persevere, and overcome the trials we face. I want to encourage you this week with the truth that nothing is able to separate you from Yeshua's love. Nothing. Wash your thoughts in his love. You might ask me, how do I do that? Well, let me tell you how I do it. I start talking to Yeshua. Yahweh, you are love, and the truth is that your perfect love casts out all fear. Your love seals me. Your love delivers and heals me. I know that you are love, but I don't have a personal revelation of your love in this day. I want your love to be a reality in me. In your word, it says that your thoughts towards me are as much as the sand upon the seashores. Will you help me to discover your thoughts towards me in this day? I give my thoughts to you and I place them within your fire of love. Let my thoughts dissolve into your thoughts so that we may become one. You are my heart's devotion. I meditate upon you. I bring every distracting thought, and here, as I wait upon you, I eat your words. I drink your truth until it becomes a part of my whole being. I breathe in your love. It is truth. I exhale your love into every part of my being, into every fear, into every lie. Your love overcomes it all. I keep on breathing in your love until I do not feel the pain anymore, until the fear becomes faith, until suffering becomes okay, because you are here with me in the flames. Let your word fan the flame of love in my life. Again, I breathe in. You are love. I breathe your love into my soul, into my body, into my calling, into the past, into the present, and into my future. You are love. Then you do it again until you feel a release. This is how we train our spirit man to have communion with Yeshua. We breathe in the reality of what is there in the heavenly places where we are seated with Yeshua, and then we release it into our realities here until it is on earth as it is in heaven, until heaven and earth become one again and you find yourself in the promised land, Garden of Eden, where you walk with him again. As it was before the fall, before sin brought separation, because that is what Yeshua's blood did for us. It brought us back into that sweet fellowship with him, back into the light, back into love. Your breath can prophesy, so prophesy his love into the dark places, the heavy spaces, the ditches, the lows, the pain, the fear, the dry bones. And they will come to love, and they will come to life, until you find yourself in the overflow. You are invited to his table. Take your position, because no one can take your place at the table he has prepared for you. It was prepared for you. He wants you in his presence, eating his word, meditating upon him, and drinking in his presence. Take your position at his table. At his table, part 2. After Yeshua spoke, he summoned sickness and suffering to the table. In my vision, the two of them looked like twins. Their appearance was dreadful and dark. With everything in them, they wanted to draw people as far as possible from Yeshua. One of the dark demonic assignments of sickness and suffering was to steal the seed of faith and take it into captivity, causing people to lose sight of Yeshua. Suffering had a cup in its hand called pain. Sickness, on the other hand, also wore a crown like fear had. The name on sickness' crown was pharmakeia. Within the crown, I saw drugstores and hospital rooms. The crown was made out of paper money that was rolled up. Around the middle of the crown, a serpent was curled. The crown dripped with horrible smelling blood that smelled like death itself. The crown was a covenant with death. As the angels brought sickness and suffering closer, Yeshua spoke. At the sound of his voice, suffering gave up its cup. I saw this cup before Yeshua. He took this cup and he drank from it. As he drank from it, the liquid inside of the cup changed. Where it had been dark and awful, it became a cup of wine, a covenant cup of love. He reached into the cup as if he was reaching into a dark pit and drew out a very thick chain. People were bound to this chain, but he took it in both his hands, and the blood from his hands flowed onto it, and then he snapped it with ease. It was as if this chain of pain dissolved within the blood from his hands. Those who had been bound were hurting, but then he helped them onto his hand, and he took them in his hand, pressing them against his heart, holding them there for some time. The expression on his face was one of deep love and care, tenderness and mercy. While he was holding them, it was like a mother hen that opened her wings for her chicks to find comfort and warmth under her wings during terrible cold. As they abode there under his wings, close to his heart, in his care, his embrace, the shelter of his hand, they healed from the trauma of pain, and they were comforted by the sound they continually heard. They came to know the sound of his heartbeat because they spent so much time near his heart. After some time, he placed them two who had gone through the valley of pain, who had to stare suffering in the face at their prepared place at his table of love. They received crowns of gold instead of crowns of thorns, and in the process, suffering disappeared altogether. And I did not see her again. Yeshua spoke, "You see, my child, I have redeemed pain. In me, pain and suffering have lost their thorns. You can overcome suffering and pain when you gaze upon me intently, seeking my very face in the midst of pain and suffering until our eyes lock. When they do, you will experience being seated with me in heavenly places, even when you go through the valley of the shadow of death. The only way our eyes will be able to lock is when you learn to have my mind in the midst of what you are going through. For my mind will keep your mind in perfect peace as your thoughts become my thoughts." After he spoke, he held out that same cup to me and said, "Take and drink, my child. Do not be afraid of the cup of suffering, because it has become a cup of love that purifies you." When the enemy tries to tell me you're not love, you are hard, my fire confirms it. But when I look a little bit deeper, I realize it's because I focus on my feelings. Hurt, broken, wounded, not understanding what you are doing, when truth is you are love, you are gentle, tender, kind, and merciful. I see it in your stripes, I see it in your wounds, I see it in the marks in your hands as they're holding on to mine. You are love, you are love. I see it in the blood dripping from the threshold of my deepest needs. You are love. You know what I need, even if it's unpleasant and painful. You know what I need. At times when this journey seems too hard and the price feels too much, you remind me that you know, you see, you understand. You are love, you are gentle, tender, kind, and merciful. I see it in your stripes, I see it in your wounds, I see it in the marks in your hands as they're holding on to mine. You are love. Sometimes the lies surfacing in me do not testify to the fact that I'm in relationship with love. So I ask you to correct every lie rising up against the truth of your love.
I know it's hard, I know it hurts sometimes, I know your struggle, I know your pain, but remember, I am love. Don't let what you feel separate you from me, 'cause your feelings can tell you are far from me, while I am here with you. I am love, I am gentle, tender, kind, and merciful. Do you see it in my stripes? Do you see it in